Hello and welcome to Modern Toyfare End of the Year Top 10 Festivus Special. I am joined by my YouTube wife and regular co-host Jarmar_Games, along with our substitute co-host from the Figuratively Speaking podcast, Nate. How were your holidays, boys?
Oh, mine was pretty good. I felt like I had a really good time hanging out with some of the family. Small part of the family, don't get me. It was not a super spreader event. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty good. How about you, Nate?
It was good. It was very low key. It was nice. I'm on the kind of the opposite end. Not the opposite end, but I have a 15-year-old where you have a young one. So Christmas is a little different in my house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean you didn't have like a pile of 47 gifts for a child that isn't going to remember it?
No. We used to do that. So,
That's one thing that never made sense for me because like my parents and my sister when she had her kid did that, and I was like, one, the kid can't play with any of these, and two,
Right.
like they're not gonna remember this. You're gonna maybe show them pictures from your Facebook in 15 years, and they're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, even worse is when they take them to Disney at that age too.
Oh,
Yeah, come
You're
on.
just one
my
for you.
sister did that.
Right.
Ugh, don't.
Yeah, and she like waited in line to get pictures of all the characters.
Man, that's dedication right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna tell as in the future that you had so many gifts for Christmas, we couldn't even open all of them. But in reality, he didn't get it.
They wouldn't
Did from
they wouldn't
family.
fit in the picture.
Right. He
just-
got stuff from family, but that's it.
He got everything but a camera to document it, unfortunately.
Next year.
2020 was the year that all cameras stopped working.
Believe anything about 2020. That's the beautiful thing of it.
Well, we've made it past Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and even Festivus, nearing closer to the new year. And we wanted to take the time to tell you what we think the top 10 action figures were in 2020. So the way this special is going to work is each of us have gathered a list of our top 10 action figures released in 2020. The only rule is that they have to have at least begun shipping before the year's end. If we have the figure, we will show it off on camera. If we missed it or haven't received it yet, then I have been nice enough to gather all the images for your viewing pleasure. So let's get started. I will start with my number 10 pick, and we will move down the line to Jarmar and then Nate. We'll give our opinion about each figure before moving on to the next. And don't forget to join in on all the fun and post your personal top 10 list in the comments below so we can look back and compare and contrast and see if maybe we missed something that deserved to be a little higher on the list. But no more waiting. I'm going to start with my top 10, and he has become essentially a major part of the show since the beginning, and that is the G.I. Joe classified Pimp Daddy Prophet Director Destro. And I'm not even a G.I. Joe fan, but when we talked about this on the show, I fell in love with it just because the name, the look, everything about it, the fact that he's like burning dollar bills and has this leopard print cape, I had to have it. So like when it started hitting GameStop, I went to my GameStop like 2 or 3 times a week trying to find it because it wouldn't. Their website is stupid and won't tell you when things are in stock. And when I got it instantly, I was just like, have to show everybody, and got super excited. So he had to make my list.
That of course he has to. He's like a running joke between us and the show now. But funny enough, it's a good thing you did keep checking GameStop and actually found it for that price, because I was out at a store in the mall, which is local toy store, Classic Plastics, which is, if you know what that is, you live near us. Well, at least me and Nate.
Yeah,
But,
don't live near me at all.
Not at all. But they had it there, and I was so inclined to get it only because of course the show, and we of course trying to explain that to Kristen. That was a fun task in itself. But I picked it up and it was $79.99, so I just put it back down. But
I could just
so
imagine that conversation, especially like just in the 6 months alone, how many things you've started collecting because of this show. She's like, I already let you collect Power Rangers. I already let you go and collect these Nendoroid things. And now you want this because you talked about it on the show?
yeah, it was literally just, oh, this is so cool. I picked it up, and she's like, what is that? And I was like, it's Pimp Daddy Distro. And
She's just like, what?
It's from the show. And then I saw the price, and I put it back down. But yeah, that's a must-have on the list.
Absolutely. It was going to be on my list. I love that figure. I think it's awesome. The burning dollar bills, the sunglasses, the cape, all of it is amazing. But good news. I don't know what was going on there, but I just did a quick eBay search and the prices have come way down. So,
Oh,
Jamar, you can get your own for less than
ooh.
$30 shipped. So,
Oh,
Whoa,
which
there,
that
highway
essentially
robbery.
is that's borderline like less than retail plus shipping.
Yeah,
mhm.
interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, now
Good
I could
idea.
have a
Help
better
people.
excuse. I'm like,
Yeah.
look, it was $80 here, and now it's only $22.
Right? You could be like, look at this amazing deal I found.
Yeah.
Except for she sometimes watches the show.
And then Nate's gonna get an angry text message the next day.
Right.
I feel like if anybody, like, she'll let me slide.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like,
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you were one of the few people at Best Buy that most people liked, so that's reasonable.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Jarmar, what is your number 10 pick?
All right, so this is definitely a rare occurrence for my top 10 because I actually have it in hand, and it's something that upon making this list, I kind of forgot that I even got it this year just because of obviously insert 2020 joke, but I was like, man, this is actually probably one of my favorite figures. So I got this nice little Turtles in Time slash, and it's one of my obviously multiple things that are going to be on the list from NECA, and I just love it so much just because of how zany it is, and I love zany figures, and you'll understand that why once we hit to the top or number one. But it's just so cool. I really, of course, love the game, and of course, I'm a Turtle fan. But this slash just takes the cake for me. And you're probably wondering, do I have my cartoon version animated series? I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like if the Toon version outranks that version on the list, I'm gonna be very disappointed in you.
Well, spoilers though, it doesn't.
Okay. I was gonna say, because realistically, I know at least me, you, and Wes have discussed it. That version of it is just so much cooler than the cartoon one.
Yeah,
It just
cool.
looks like weird Uncle like Slash came to visit and have a good time.
Still like it. But it's just so cool. That's cool. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. No, that slash is awesome. I love it.
And completely
so
forgot that I got it this year. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's because this year was woo. So I did things a little bit differently. We didn't have, other than the one rule that you gave me, I kind of had to instill my own rules because I just was overwhelmed.
I guess you could have asked me. I could have made more rules up for you if you really wanted.
Yeah, no, I made up my own rules. I was like, I gotta, like, honestly, I think if I had picked like my top 10 top figures of the year, like it would have just been NECA and Super 7. That's it.
Me and Jarmar had that whole conversation where like, I don't want to give half this list to NECA. Like, I feel like that's just unacceptable.
So I tried to like branch out and grab like my favorite thing from a lot of the different areas that I collect. So my number 10 is my this is my SPD Omega Ranger. This was a Amazon exclusive. So I snapped this up as soon as it was available to be ordered. This was something different because it came with the motorcycle. As I have talked on this show, I'm not a Power Rangers fan as I am just a fan of Sentai and Japanese superheroes. So I do love this season. It's an awesome one. And I love this figure just because it's so different. It comes with the motorcycle. It didn't come with a human head. I did not care. I would have tossed it in the trash anyway. And he comes with really cool effects that like this lightning effect on the hand that I haven't seen replicated on any other Lightning Collection figure yet. So, but this was my favorite Power Ranger purchase this year.
I'm so happy you included Power Rangers because I felt absolutely terrible not including Lord Dragon. I'm like, oh, he's so cool, but I can't.
Is a cool figure.
That's
a cool figure.
Of course, that was my new collection this year. Was the Power Rangers Lightning collection, and I did Mighty Morphin, and so close they got on the list, but yeah, had to make room. So I like that, and also the lightning effects on those far better than all the other ones because it looks like it's actually very stable.
Yeah,
so
it's actually part of the hand.
Yeah, it's molded.
That's
in.
Actually one of the removable hands. Yeah, so I mean, I wish they would do more like this. I don't want to like crap on it because I love the fact that the Power Rangers all come with an energy effect of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I wish we got more. I love what we're getting in Marvel Legends and Star Wars, but Lightning Collection is really putting them to task with that. Is that a thing? Putting them to task?
I don't know. It sounds like you just made it up.
The task.
Maybe that's some like boomer like saying or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm Gen X. Leave me alone.
All right, I guess it's time to move on to number 9. And for me, this one I don't have in hand yet. I actually am getting it as a late Christmas gift from a friend of mine. And that is the Bandai Spirits Gundam Universe God Gundam. So, as a kid, I loved Gundam Wing, but I loved the Gundam Fighters series so much better. Just because the fact that they were in these like cool suits inside and they were actually like doing the moves and fighting, so it made more sense than just like I moved some levers and it's making all these weird motions. And the cool little like hover cars that they had to use to like get inside the Gundam instead of it being like you just jump really high as some weird human. So I loved this as a kid, and the fact that Bandai Spirits is doing this Gundam Universe line. I've got so many of the Gundam Wing, and I'm happy they're starting to do the fighters because there's so many from that show I'd love to have.
I don't think enough people are talking about that line. I think it's really cool. I wish I kind of would have bought into it a little bit more when it started. I'm sure I could probably find them. I don't know that there's a lot of aftermarket heat, but I think they're really cool.
I mean, they're Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check that out more because there's been a lot of Gundam over the years that I've really, really liked. It may not be necessarily something I'd have to have everything of, but yeah, I've seen that one, and that one looks awesome.
Yeah, I've essentially decided I'm going to do the Gundam Wing and then the fighters, and that's it. Because I've seen some of the other Gundam like shows, and I kind of liked them, but those were the two that really resonated with me, especially as a kid. And I've so far I've got the Winged Gundam, I've got the Endless Waltz version that just came out, and then I've got the Death Scythe, and I just ordered, and it should be here soon. I can't think of the name. The like bad guy from Gundam Wing, the weird like white soldier Gundam.
Oh yeah, Tall Geese.
Tall Geese, yes. So I've got that one coming, and then of course the God Gundam will be here in a few days as my Christmas gift. So I'm just curious to see. Yeah, like you said, people are sleeping on this line. I got into it because I just randomly saw it at Target one day. It was just there, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is awesome, especially with like starting off with the Gundam Wing figures, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna jump into this, and it makes it easy because they only have like one per line from each series, so that way you don't have to worry of like, oh, they're dropping them, and now I have to buy 3 figures and all this at once. It's like, no, unless you really want the other series, you can kind of just get the one that you want and wait for the next batch to drop.
It's nice on the wallet.
Right, especially with all the other things, especially when you're at Target and you're looking for Ninja Turtles.
Just not nice on the wallet.
Yes, or on the soul.
I guess I'm up next.
You are.
So, speaking of which, my number 9, oddly enough, I don't have it in hand. Well, not oddly enough, you'll understand why. This one, out of all the things that came out this year, gave me the biggest feeling of regret for not just instantly pulling the trigger. And that figure was in a 2-pack with Splinter and Baxter Stockman. So I'm going with Baxter Stockman, and it's not an FU to Splinter, but
I don't know. I took it as a FU as a Splinter.
No, the thing is, after watching your review, slight plug if you want to post the link right there. Seeing that figure, it just kind of reminded me what I loved about Ninja Turtles, of just like the colorful, the coolness. It makes me feel like a kid with that toy, and I just cannot wait till it's finally in my hands. I again have huge regrets of not just telling you to buy it.
Oh, man.
I was trying to be smart and save some money,
dude.
And then I wanted to get it, and then Nate hooked me up, and then it wasn't there, and then I was like, all right, forget it. I'm going to eBay.
Story time for this one for sure. So I'm literally in the store the first time when I'm getting mine, and I'm just like, "Are you 100% sure you don't want this?" No, I'm good. Okay. Literally 4 days before Christmas, I believe it was like the weekend before Christmas. I'm in Target one last time because we had to pick some things up. They had 16 of them. I sent him one more message. I'm like, I'm not coming back to the store before Christmas. So this is your last chance. Cause he had been messaging me like, did I fuck up? So I was like, this is it. Like, they're here. There's 16 of them. If you want it, now's the time. No, I'm good. 2 days later, I get another text.
I said, I'm good, I think.
Yeah, and then I was like, you think or you're sure? Because I'm not coming back. So like, you shit or get off the pot. And then 2 days later, I get a text. I fucked up. I really fucked up. So I, as a good friend, go back out to Target 2 days before Christmas at this point. All 16 of them gone.
Nope.
And I'm just like, what kind of idiot scalper bought 16 of these? Because I know there's not that many TMNT collectors here in Flagstaff. I'm sorry. There aren't. And I'm like, when you're buying 16 of them, clearly the market is oversaturated and they aren't going to hold any value.
Right.
So good luck with that when he tries to return them the day after Christmas, I guess. But yeah, so then we like we hit you up to try to see if you like saw any or anything, and then I get one last text from Jarmar saying
behind the 8 ball every time.
Jarmar's just like, I got it for X amount shipped. And I'm like, okay, that's not terrible. That's not much
like
more than what
$70 plus tax.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not bad for compared to you would have like, it was like what, $5, maybe $10 more than you would have had to pay me to ship it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
that's not really that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I ordered it Christmas Day too. I was just sitting there like, and I saw it pop up, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta get it.
The best was then like the day after Christmas or the 2 days after Christmas what's the day after? Because it was Saturday. He's like, man, why can't this guy get up and go to the post office?
Like, what's taking him so long? And I'm happy to report he did ship it out, so it'll be here on January 4th. So I'm excited. But yeah, I'm really excited to just get into that pack. I totally appreciate everything with Splinter and like all the accessories. It's just probably Nick's best 2-pack this year.
Mm-hmm.
But that just seeing like the color, it's just something that really clicks with me with that figure. I can't wait to have that. So it actually made my top 10.
Yeah, I can't argue with you
Don't
because
regret.
I
No regrets.
literally did nothing but talk about how amazing those two figures were in my review. I've talked about it in multiple feeds on Twitter, and I even had a discussion because I originally was going to just sell Baxter Stockman. I wasn't going to keep him. I was either going to trade him or sell him. And then I got him out of the box, and I was like, oh my god, look at these colors. He just looks so adorable with his big red eyes. I'm like,
and the bow tie
and his little sweater vest. I'm like, god damn it.
He's a completely different figure than the Super 7 one that came out this year too.
Yes.
So.
Well, the Super 7 was definitely more of like this Baxter right here, whereas that was like, he's so just darn cute,
right? I'm just like,
yeah.
you can turn me into a gerbil and I'd still want to cuddle with you a little bit.
Yep. I just got mine today in hand. I haven't even opened it yet, so I kind of made that a thing on the list too, that I had to at least have it opened. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
So funny story about Nate's rules that he made up for himself. I texted these two back and forth asking, do we want to make it only things we purchased or do we want to open it to everything? And both of them wanted to open up to everything, and then Nate makes the rule that he has to have it in hand.
It's like discipline.
Yep, that's how I do things.
Well, I mean, I guess
make it more difficult for myself than I will.
I guess. Well, you see, the problem is it doesn't, because you buy like 90% of things that you want if you can find it. So I feel like that still doesn't like that brings it down maybe like 5% difficulty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So
fair enough.
My turn?
It's your turn.
Yes, it is.
All right. So this is like, I think this is really my only really like higher end piece on the list. Because I know you guys do a lot of more higher end, especially you, Michael. You do more of like you know, these kind of pieces.
I'm terrible.
But I had to include this. Yeah, I had to include this on my list. As you can see behind me, I do have a Harley collection, but this is the Mezco 112 Classic Harley edition. This is so cool, so great. I don't even know what else I can even say. Just the accessories are incredible. All the different heads. I don't have many Mezcos. I probably only have 4 or 5, but I dig them. I save them for something that I really care about or something that I really want to, spend that amount of money on. But then this is definitely one of them, and I just love the different stuff that you can do with it.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I love that pose that you've got her in.
Yeah.
But
blowing her back.
But yeah, I love Mezco, so I can't argue. Yeah. Like, they do fantastic work 9 times out of 10, and that was definitely a figure this year that was really, really well done. And like, I mean, they had a pretty, like, when you got to the second half of the year, they started just pumping them out like one after another. So
Yeah,
Like,
I got the updated one. I think I showed it off a couple weeks ago when I was
yeah.
on the and then my kid got the John Wick for Christmas,
Mm.
which is pretty cool. And then I've got the Batman coming.
So, question about the John Wick. Then I know this is kind of off
Mhm.
topic. Did you guys just pre-order that like super far in advance, or
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Because that was
yeah.
an
That was like
exclusive for like Comic Con or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what it was. It was on their website when I ordered it, but I think
Mhm.
it was like April of 2019.
Yeah, it was super
Wow.
early in the year because that's what I used
Yeah,
for my Alfred that I put together.
yeah.
So it was a really cool figure too. But I guess that brings it back to me with my number 8, which is the second one on my list that I don't have. But this one's a little more tragic because I am unfortunately going to have to feed the eBay monster. My number 8 was the Star Wars Black Series Credit Collection Mandalorian, which was exclusive through Amazon. And I didn't find out till like hours after it went live. So I completely missed out on it. He's not going for crazy amounts on eBay, but I've seen people post that he popped back up on Amazon a couple times, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe, just maybe, I'll get lucky. But this figure just, it looks incredible. The packaging, I love the fact that it's based on the artwork at the end credits of the show. It just, the colors pop. I almost like I almost feel like it's the like retro Doctor Doom figure where I feel like I need to because the figure looks so great and I want to have it out and posed, but it looks so much better on card, and I generally am not a like mint on card collector, so it's like a very like damned if I do, damned if I don't. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I have the same issue. I'm not a mint on card collector either, but I love those. I got those only because I could get the Mandalorian
Hmm.
when I was able to get him from Amazon because I didn't hesitate on those. Because if you want an Amazon exclusive, you got to jump on it when you can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are awesome. That's one of my favorite sublines that they did this year.
Good one.
Oh, well, Jamar apparently did not care at all.
No, I mean, agree. I'm happy with my Beskar armor. It's so
Jamar's like, fuck your top 10. Mine's the only one that matters.
no. You looked at me. I felt like you gave me a look at like.
Well, I was just looking because literally it's been an A and B conversation, and you're just seeing your way out. Like we have whole conversations about toys, and you just sit there like, "That's
It
nice."
flow. I'm trying to make it flow, so it's not like every time I jump in on something and vice versa and everything.
Oh, that's fine, but literally we both stopped talking, and you just sat there with a blank look on your face.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're the host. You're supposed to keep this rolling.
I am, but for the most part, we try to keep this as a conversation. I didn't realize that this was a great debate, and I need to moderate.
Yeah, so I'm upset that I didn't get that either. So yeah, but I probably won't go on eBay or anything because I have a Mandalorian figure that I have, and that's probably it. Unless I find some more.
I would only justify this one solely because of the fact that I don't collect Star Wars figures. Like I started to, and then I was like, nope, can't do it. There's too deep of water for me to jump into.
Yeah.
So it's like this one is like a one-off that I could really just have and not have to worry about it. And that's the only reason why I justify it. It is though, because I don't care about I don't need Cara Dune. I don't need the heavy artillery Mandalorian. I don't need IG-11. Like they look really cool, but they're not things I need. But that Mandalorian in that paint job with that artwork, it's just it's pretty much it's the show to me. Like that's what I think of when I think of the show.
I don't understand this. I don't need thing.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah, I don't understand it. There's part of a line. There's more that you can get. You get them. That's how it works.
Listen, Nate. I look behind me, and there's a lot of fucking things on that shelf that I needed. So I don't need to add more things to that list.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And you said it yourself. I collect a lot more high-end things. So when like it's not like I'm buying a bunch of $20 figures. Like that shelf right there, like those are each at least like $80 to $100 retail, which is real rough.
But still, need. I mean, it's all superfluous.
Yes, it's true.
Well, now if we're done with semantics, I think it's Jamar's turn.
Well, it's funny you should mention something that you need.
Oh God.
The number 8 on my list is something I don't have on hand, and I think it's because I'm gonna possibly hold out for another version that technically hasn't released this year. But it's the Mumra figure by Super 7, and I didn't know about this until obviously we're doing the show, and then I think you brought it on because I think you may have gotten it, and it was one of like our show and tell segment, weekly purchases.
For those of us who actually watch the show.
I went down a rabbit hole, and it is one of the figures that I've been playing like tag with on Big Bad Toy Store for like the back half of the year. I keep adding it to the cart, taking it out, keep adding it, but man, it's just the two cape options. Just as the skull, like Super 7 is just phenomenal. They're like a beast when it comes to toy figure or like making the figures. And again, that has another little thing to me because I love Thundercats, even though I wasn't old enough to watch it when it first came out. Like I was watching, like reruns and stuff. And man, I just need to get that and Lino. And I was like, I got to have some representation on my list. So I went with the Mum Wraps figures. I love it. So if you ever just want to like drop that outside your house and I just happen to walk by, I'll gladly pick it up for you. But I don't know.
I would say that I would do that. I feel like we're going to talk about this figure again, though. So that's the issue.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you really want it, we just need to have one of Nate's other co-hosts from Figure Speaking order it. So that way it will just get left in a ditch somewhere by FedEx and you can just find it.
Fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're doing that?
Yeah, that was
I gotta find
that was a pretty
FedEx.
That was a pretty entertaining episode, yeah. Where it was like it was like a 3-part episode of just like, where's this package now?
I had to go to his house while he was in Universal, so I could pick the crap off his porch, so it didn't happen again to like make sure he got it. I'm a nice guy. I did that for him.
Oh, FedEx.
Well, I guess that means it's Nate's turn.
Oh, that's my turn. Woo! Okay, so this next one, this is my NECA selection, non-Ninja Turtle. I feel like I should specify that. Just regular.
That's more surprising.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Well, I mean, because it's coming later up.
He's like, that's the entire top 5.
Yeah, for like the horror figures and stuff, which I collect a lot of, their ultimates and stuff. I had to go with Annabelle this year for this one. This was such a cool idea. I liked The Conjuring, liked The Conjuring 2 even more. First Annabelle was not very good. Second one was real good. Third one was But now that you know my whole history on Annabelle, just this figure, though, is just such a cool idea. It's got the glass case, the do not touch, but she does come out. She has 2 different heads. The chair that's in there, it comes out to. It's a full chair. There's not much you can do with her, but I mean, you can do stuff with her. I like putting her on her chair as intended. But
right.
I just want to point out that Nate is not good at reading signs and obeying, apparently.
Yeah, just straight up.
Do not touch. And he opens. He's like, look what I've got.
Yep. So and I cram her back in there. But I think this is a cool figure. I love the way that they did it. It's perfect. It's a perfect representation from the movie. Even if you're not a huge fan of their movies or of her movies like I am, it still works with The Conjuring because I also got the Crooked Man this year, and it's awesome too.
See, I think that is really cool, mostly because the accessories, like the chair and the glass case, and I had no idea that came with it. I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to buy that now. And then it's like, I'd have to burn that doll because I would have nightmares that it's going to come to life and fucking kill me in my sleep. And I just
that's probably correct. So,
but
I would probably recommend that you do that.
Here's the thing: it's a much smaller scale, so I feel like you could take that doll on.
Did you not see Toy Soldiers?
I love Toy Soldiers. Yeah, that's actually really really awesome. Like, I feel like if anyone else would have like attempted to do something like that, the box would have been like the actual packaging would have been box.
Yes,
and it would just been but that being like its own separate accessory is like amazing, which is. Man, they just pay attention to details.
They do. They torture our souls, but man, do they give us such nice things.
Not only that, but it even came with like a little paper note that she wrote in one of the movies. I can't remember. I mean, I lost that within 45 seconds of opening it.
Right.
It didn't stand a chance. That's what I call pre-lost.
Right.
Those accessories just do not make it.
Man,
that's funny.
I think either my dog ate it, the cat ate it, I ate it.
Right.
Now I feel like I'm a weirdo because I still have like every single like paper accessory the turtles have come with.
I know, but I mean some of those are decently sized. I kid you not, when it was like 3 centimeters by like 6 centimeters, it was so tiny.
It was basically
never
lint.
Opened it. Yeah,
Should have left it in that plastic wrap at the bottom of the box.
I should have. And don't think I didn't think about getting another one
Just for the
for
note.
that
On
stupid
eBay.
note. Yeah.
Oh, I've been there, done that. I've lost the tiny accessory and been like, damn it. And I sat there and after months of searching on eBay, hoping someone maybe will be selling it separately because people part things out sometimes, make a little extra money. And I just ended up biting the bullet and buying another one and then hoping that someone wants to buy it without the note or the other tiny accessory.
Yeah, you can totally get this and then like have your own action figures, own little nerd display case for those little tiny action figures.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is I could do something like that with it.
Perfect.
So here's what we'll do. I'll buy that and I'll just sell you the note and then I'll burn the doll and put the ashes outside somewhere far away from my apartment and then I'll be set.
Yeah.
There we go.
So what you do then is you take the ashes and then the next time you fly into Ohio, you flush it down the toilet and then it shoots out somewhere over the Midwest.
But see, then that means I have to wait until like the next time I'm going to come back to Ohio to buy it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be sitting in my apartment. So unless I'm going to like chain it to a wall or something or...
Leave it in the box. Just order it and leave it in the FedEx box.
I still don't trust it, Jarmar. You don't understand. I have anxiety, and I was tormented as a child with horror movies, so it doesn't work for me that way.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. At least someone on this show pities me a little bit.
No, because now you miss out. Horror movies are great.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I was also terrified of Splinter as a child because of that like felt version they made that looked like a real rat. My father decided to take his robe off and chase me around the house with it. Like it was a dead rat.
Splinter took his robe off, or your dad?
Yes, we need clarification.
My dad took Splinter's robe off, not his.
Fair enough.
It chased me around like he had a dead rat in his hand. So I was terrified of Splinter for the first however many years of my life, and then I had this like pent up anger at Splinter, like it was his fault.
As you do.
I was like, "Fuck you, rat dad."
Talking rat is pretty terrifying in itself. So,
so I guess I'm gonna stick on the NECA train for mine. My number 7 pick is something that I have expressed my love of quite a bit on the show. Another non-turtle NECA figure, and that is my 1989 Godzilla, and this is my favorite version of Godzilla, just
hands down.
The way he looks, and they knocked it out of the park with that giant tail, just the sculpt on it, everything about it. And I joked with Jarmar when I was doing my list, I'm like, I kind of want to put this one and the Biolante like ooze version, but I'm like, no, I can't do it. It's the same figure just with like some slime on it. I can't do that. So I stuck with just the regular version, and it came with the Atomic Blast, which looks great. So I'm so happy that not only did they do this, but I was able to find it because I was terrified that it wouldn't come to my Target because they haven't done a great job with the Godzilla figures like they have with the Ninja Turtle ones, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's weird because most stores got stuck with way more Godzillas than anything else. But I love that figure. That's my favorite Godzilla figure they've done. It's my favorite era. It looks like my cat that I no longer have that I, used to love. So I look at that figure, I see my cat. It's awesome. I love that one. It's my favorite one too. I swapped it out only because I was like, there's so many Godzillas and the innovation of the Annabelle. But I totally agree with you having it on your list. It's if you're gonna have one Godzilla, like that's the one to get.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
I'm just shocked that the whole list isn't all of yours.
Hey, first off, just because I bought a bunch of Godzillas this year doesn't mean they all came out this year. So I couldn't have if I tried.
That's fair.
Pretty sure only
I tried. I did the numbers.
Pretty sure only 5 of them would have been able to make the list because the rest came out last year or the year before.
That's a good point.
All right, what's your number 7, Jarmar?
All right, so my number 7 was another figure that I discovered while doing a show, and I should have went back and looked at this, but I think it would have been like the 3rd or 2nd episode. And we came across this. It was a Wonder Woman figure by, I'm going to butcher the name, Koto Boyaki. But it's there you go. You got it. There's another, I'm not going to even go into the type of version because there's another name. It's Fukushin something. I don't know. So a lot of my inspiration for like a lot of figures and stuff I like, and just culture in general of interest, has to do with like the like anime that I'm into. And this figure is basically Wonder Woman mixed with like in like anime style. And something about that figure just like really, really, really like hits with me. I cannot justify buying it because it's like $80 and it's Wonder Woman, but it's just so cool that I was like, I have to put this on the list because it's again one of those other, tag that I'm playing tag with in Big Bad Toy Store. But I just truly couldn't justify buying a Wonder Woman figure. And I looked into it to see if maybe there was other DC figures on the line, but it's just Wonder Woman. So
I think
yeah,
their plan was to do more like female characters at some point, but they were starting with her.
that's fair. That makes sense. That totally makes sense.
I had not seen it before. I wasn't familiar with it, but it looked great.
Yeah, it's so awesome. It's just the style of the figure. It's just kind of cool to see like a DC character in like this anime style. Of course, we've seen like Batman in different like different styles and stuff, but that just really, really, really kind of sticks with me. So I liked it that much that I put it on the top 7. So I have not bought it.
Here's my question: if HBO Max were to do this kind of art style with a Wonder Woman show, would that be enough to put you over and be like, okay, that's pretty bad? It's kind of like how they did with back when we were kids, and I guess even technically with kids now, where they make shows to sell toys. Would you, if you watched it and you fell in love with that show, would that be enough to put you over and you'd spend the $80?
That could be enough, because if the show is good enough to where it leaves like a last impression on me, I mean, I am totally down for that. If a show connects with me, a la Dragon Prince, spoilers, my son is named after the character Ezrin from that show. So if it sticks with me, that's the way. That's why I collect toys. I want to have a representation of who I am in my figures and in my collection. So yes, that would be a good way for me to justify the purchase.
All right,
So
AT&T, make it happen. You want to sell some toys?
Call Jason and tell him to tell AT&T to make that a HBO Max show. But yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
Nate.
All right, my number 7. All right, so I might throw.
I just imagining like Nate with a sack of toys and he's just randomly picking through.
Okay,
and be like,
I love the same thing. Like he's got a little Santa Claus bag and he's just digging through.
He's like, oh, this one's real far. Oh, thank God you put this on your list.
Yeah. So this is the Uzaru Vegeta Dragon Ball Z SH Figure Arts. This was the best figure arts released this year. I looked. The Adventure Begins Bulma was last year, so that's second favorite character in the entire show. But this figure, I love when Machinations and Bandai will go outside of the box a little bit and do something different. They're doing it more and more. They did it with Bulma's bike, so we got a vehicle. They're doing it with Frieza First Form, but this thing is just it's a masterpiece. I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Vegeta fan, but there's no denying how awesome this is. And with it so big, your regular, I mean, it's not 2 scale, obviously, but it just towers over all of your other figures, as you can see behind Michael's head.
Yes,
because it's also up there. But I love it. It's so cool. I have fun with it, and then I put it away because then I'm afraid I'm going to break it, and it was $170.
Yeah. See, I'm so happy you put this on your list, because I legitimately looked at him like, oh, he deserves to be on the list so bad, but I'm like, I really don't want to have to take him down. I'd have to basically take everything off that shelf because they were like surrounding his base, and I'm like, and he's just so big, and I just don't want him. I don't want to drop him, and and then I like did some math with some other things. I'm like, okay, I'm like 80% sure Nate's gonna choose this, so I might be safe.
Yep. You chose well.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they definitely knocked it out of the park. And if you want to see more of that, there's a review on the Modern Toyfare channel, so go check it out.
Another link.
I don't know how to do that yet, so
I know. I'm signing you up.
Quit signing me up for these things that I don't know how to do. Like I just figured out how to put the fancy cards at the end of the video to make them like potentially click on other videos. So
So you're not gonna Photoshop the characters in our hands, like for the figures we don't have?
Not at all.
Oh. I already
No.
tweeted it out.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So
People are real disappointed when they get the normal modern Toyfare news style graphic pop up through the transition, and it's not in your hand.
Wait, let me.
See, I almost was gonna just send your list to Nate and be like, "Hey, if you have any of these, I just need you to Vanna White them."
I thought about that with some of like the ones I was picking. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he has that.
I knew he had the Mandalorian, so I was gonna be like, I was genuinely thinking like, "Hey, I need you to do some Vanna White stuff for us." And
I have it over there.
I'm like, because I knew he had Mandalorian, I know he has a handful that are on your list, so I was like, I might be able to pull that off.
Show me your vows.
All right, so on to number 6. We're almost halfway there. So Nate already put a Mezco figure on the list, and I'm going to add to it. I am adding the Mezco 112 Supreme Knight Batman. And this figure definitely has some problems. For whatever reason, with like fleshy tones, they don't give them very much depth. It's usually just like a generic facial like color. But the rest of the figure is absolutely fantastic, and this is the first time ever that I've gotten. Like, I hate the pleather capes they use. They just don't sit right. They look wonky. Like if you don't have them wired up somehow, they look terrible. But he's the first one that came with an interchangeable cape where his neck is magnetic. You pop it off and you can swap them out. And the second cape is a wired cape, and it just looks incredible. And it's pleather and it just flows and looks so cool. I everything about this figure I love, and I'm super happy to get like a weird like modernized version of essentially the Dark Knight Returns Batman, because that's my favorite Batman, so I wasn't going to pass that up.
No, it looked awesome.
I'm surprised. Well, I'll wait until we'll see what you have. Are we gonna have a segment of like, I'm surprised you didn't have that, or maybe like an honorable?
I mean, I debate. My list was so long at one point. I was like, I'm gonna have to do an honorable mentions thing at the end, but I was like, I ain't got the energy for that, so never mind. So that would be a whole nother hour of the show of us just doing honorable mentions, because we literally just talk about everything we bought this year at that point.
Right. But yeah.
So I go ahead.
I'm just gonna go on the record, man. I really want a Mezco like figure. I don't know what it'll be and when it'll be, but I really want something.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction just because it was teased at New York Comic Con with their artwork. You will see Mezco Ninja Turtles within the next 5 years, and that's when you'll get your first Mezco figure.
That will be it. My first 4 Mezco figures.
Mm-hmm. Your wife is gonna be like, "You're not allowed on that show anymore because it cost you $400."
Nate, I'm gonna have to come sign up for a loan. I need it just for these.
Boy.
I'm terrified of
Needs
that.
a second mortgage.
Yeah. It's still exciting though. That's exciting.
Yeah, I hope that they do it and they do it right, and it's not just the movie Turtles. I hope they do like a comic book Turtles. But
Yeah.
that's neither here or there. Let's hear what Jarmar's number 6 pick is.
All right, number 6. If you're not used to this by now, I don't have the figure.
I'm noticing a trend. Everything's just in your Big Bad Toy Store cart.
This one I actually purchased, and I'm waiting for it. I looked really, really hard on the internet to find if it was in hand, because that was one of the rules. It had to be like in hand somewhere in the world. We opened that pretty broad, but that was awesome because I could add something on the list that I absolutely adore, and it's of course a Nindoroid, because this one is for Last of Us Part 2 Ellie. So we have Ellie with the tattoo, the pullback hair, and the updo, and she has the bow. And I mean, we don't even have to get into discussion of like how much The Last of Us Part 2 just kind of left a huge impression on me. But that character and in that design, like the chibi design, I mean, I could literally take every single character in this small little figure size. It's just that they're so expensive, so please don't do every character. But I mean, I have my list filled out with like Kratos I need to get, Crash I need to get. I'm a huge PlayStation fan. But this figure is number 6 on my list, and I cannot absolutely wait until I get this. I just can't wait.
I'm honestly surprised it's not higher on your list, because I know how much you love Last of Us and how much like the show kind of like started with you like falling in love with this figure, and you like being like, I need it, and then like debating for like a while if you were gonna get it or not, and then just being like, fuck it, it's I have to have it, and then complaining
I mean,
that it kept getting pushed back and not shipping.
well, this one I thought was pretty like good, like automatic. It was December, and it still says December, but obviously it's not going to ship out here in the next 3 days.
Yeah,
so
right. They're weekdays.
We'll see. We'll see. That could be a possibility. If it does, I'll be so happy. But I just had to have like I kind of took an approach like you did, Nate, of wanting to get some representation of other lines and other like companies out there that I adore, and so I needed to get an endure. God darn it. I want a supercut of me saying this word on this show.
Just 50 episodes worth of you just stumbling through it. That's what I should have used as the intro trailer on the channel.
Oh, me just saying.
Just you try and say that over and over again for 30 seconds.
Right. But I did get my first figure from this line earlier in the year. We have the story. I don't have to go in detail with it, but I did the Midoriya figure, but that technically came out last year, at the end of last year, so that wasn't able to hit the list. So I had to get some representation on there. That's why we broadened the requirements for it. But yeah.
And realistically, like you said, it has released in Japan, so it is in hand somewhere, just not in the States yet. So we let that one slide. We didn't call any fouls there, especially because I have one on my list that technically only released in Japan because it just never got shipped to the States. So we'll get to that one here in a little bit.
Right.
That's right.
So we are into number 6.
Yes, number 6. Reach into your secret sack and pull out number 6.
My secret sack. All right. So I've got my G.I. Joe classified Snake Eyes. This is the Hasbro Pulse exclusive version. So he's got the different colored legs and head and a bunch of other subtle differences. Also came with the weapons rack, the Arashikage weapons rack. Came in a really nice decked out box with really cool finish. I've wanted 6-inch G.I. Joe figures, I don't even know how long, just a really long time, and just getting this one in hand early in the year it's just a home run all the way around. I think it's better than the retail version. I've loved this line though. All the weird choices that they've made I've liked. I think they're all cool, but this being one of my absolute favorite characters, this is just so cool to see.
Yeah,
that is really dope. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to agree with you. Like the 6-inch figures are like JoJo. It's like a refreshing thing to see.
Yep. Really. Yeah, because they got great character designs. And, it made more sense in the preceding years because you wanted to, have small enough to fit in vehicles and stuff. But nobody gives a crap about vehicles anymore. Just give us the cool figures.
Excuse you.
I mean,
I've been making payments waiting for this to ship. I have the was it the Jazz Diorama whatever Batmobile that's not officially licensed, so it's the Justice Mobile. Pre-ordered, and I'm making payments on it because I want a 1/12 scale Batmobile for my Mexico Batman. So you shut your whore mouth when you say we don't want vehicles.
Listen, I'm not saying that I don't necessarily want vehicles, but I'm okay with not getting them in this line. Other lines are a little different. I mean, that's still why I do a few vintage collection Star Wars and stuff. But I'm okay with it in this line, not really getting vehicles.
That's understandable. They'd get pretty expensive pretty quick. So they pump out vehicles like it's candy. I'm not gonna lie. When they first revealed that for the Hasbro Pulse exclusive, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, I kind of want it because it was just the presentation of it with the box and how everything was in that nice foam cutout for all the weapons and stuff. I'm like, oh, it looks so cool. And then I was like, why the fuck is this in my cart? I don't like G.I. Joe.
And yet,
you
have one and it made your list.
It did, but nothing can compare to Pimp Daddy Destro.
It can't.
He's a pimp.
He is a
Pimpin'
pimp.
ain't easy, damn it, and he deserves some recognition for it.
Does that make him Player of the Year? Pimp of the Year?
Got to.
Yeah,
I
man.
think so.
He's the most valuable pimp.
Yes.
So I guess we're officially halfway. We're at number 5, and a few minutes ago I talked about how I have a figure that technically only released in Japan because for whatever reason, every retailer that was supposed to have it for the States either has just pushed it back or has canceled orders and taken it off their site. And that is my SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z figure, which took place instead of the Great Ape Vegeta. One, because this is my personal favorite character, so to get an updated version, it was a must. And because I went on my way to order it from Amazon Japan to get him. Literally get him like a month early, and then ended up just getting him at all. And that is Piccolo. Just the fact that they like hit perfectly with the colors from the anime, his like new sculpts, his new articulation. The only thing I didn't care before was his cape, just because it was two pieces, so you couldn't like have it laying on the ground next to him very easily and like look like he took it off or anything cool. But I am on a pre-order list to get a custom fabric one to solve that problem. But yeah, I ordered him from Amazon Japan a week after he started showing up, and people said that that's where they got him. And then 2 weeks later, Amazon was in the States was listing like, okay, it's going to ship on this date, it's going to ship this date, and then it got to that date, and then everyone's orders got canceled, and it got taken off the site except for third-party sellers who were selling it for significantly more. And there was never any explanation. It was literally just, sorry, this isn't available anymore. And even Big Bad Toy Store hasn't, like, I mean, it's kind of common for Big Bad Toy Store. You expect it to show up when it shows up, kind of thing. You don't really have a set date in mind, but even they haven't like begun shipping, and it's been out for almost 2.5 months at this point. So I don't know if this was maybe another like Gohan syndrome. Maybe they fell off the ship somewhere in the middle of the sea, or they didn't make enough, or I don't know. But I'm just happy that I broke down and ordered it from Japan before that like ran out too.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll get mine eventually. So that's all I can do. I have mine through Big Bad Toy Store, so
just wait it out.
I'm sure they'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you showed that off, I can't keep track of the weeks, but that was a figure I was like, man, this makes me wish I was collecting these lines. But also knowing what you had to do to actually get it, and also knowing
the price tag of the Figuarts figures, also
right? Yeah, that too as well.
I would honestly, if you just want representation on your show and you're not really concerned with like the high end articulation and like accessories, I'd get the Dragon Stars version because it still looks really cool. It's just a little more Americanized is how I like to say it, because you could tell it looks like if you compare an American car to like a cool Japanese car, like you could tell the difference, but it's still like, okay, at least I have a car.
You just don't stand them next to each other.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
I just won't bring him with me when I come back to Ohio to be like, look.
I'm sure you will have it with you. You just carry it around with you in your pocket all the time.
I mean, I already do, but at one point I was gonna make a joke, since we made the rule that it had to have at least shipped in 2020. About I almost chose the premium Bandai exclusive Gohan just to be like, well, it technically shipped. It's just at the bottom of the ocean. But I was like, nah, I don't want to waste a spot on my list for that.
Yeah.
All right, Jarmar, what's your number 5? Do you have this one in hand?
Yeah, guess what? This is one that I actually have in hand, and this is a NECA figure, of course. Coming back to Ninja Turtles, this guy here, surprisingly enough, is not higher on my list. I would have thought it would have been a little bit higher, but after going through the rankings and some scratching my head, I put him a little bit lower. But this is the mighty Metalhead. There's not like I don't have to gush about this figure. It's pretty close to perfect as you could possibly have. The only thing that was imperfect about it was trying to get one. And if you don't believe me how perfect this is, just think about that giveaway that we got coming up.
Right?
Dude, I'm like shouting out everything.
Man,
but
why can't I get this Jarmar in every episode?
this guy here,
he doesn't like it when I'm like right.
Oh yeah, he's like Nate might take my job. I got to work a little harder.
I'm a chihuahua off the leash right now, dude. No, but this figure in particular is great just because of design. They pretty much nailed like every single thing about the figure itself. But then NECA doing some creative stuff like with your Annabelle figure, the packaging was just like that sold me on the figure itself. Like just hands down alone. I mean, you don't have to do much to sell me on a Ninja Turtle figure, but the box is just amazing. Like everything about this figure is amazing, and I absolutely love it. So
yeah, it's such a cool figure. Like when it was first announced, I was like, I don't care about Metalhead, but then I got it, and I was like, it's so awesome. It's so cool.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I was like, I don't really care about Metalhead, but I was still like, even in the pictures they showed, I was like, okay, he still looks really cool, so I'll get him because, like, I enjoyed him in the 2012 series. I vaguely remember him from the old cartoons, so I'm like, yeah, I'll get him. Mm-hmm. And then we got him in hand, and I was just like, wow, they knocked it out of the park, which you can find out on one of our reviews, so go check that out. But
it's just a commercial for you.
Hey, got to do whatever we can, okay? But the best was just the story behind how we got him. Like that was probably one of my favorite moments on the show, because that morning you had texted me, and it was before I was awake because I was 3 hours behind you at that point, and you were like, "Hey, I'm at Target. They have Casey Jones in the 2-pack, but they don't have Metalhead. Do you want Casey Jones in the Foot Soldier?" Well, I woke up an hour after the fact, and I was like, "Yes," and you're like, "Oh well, your friend was here and he got the other one." And I was just like, motherfucker. So then I'm already in a pissy mood, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to my fucking Target and get it myself. And I went, and then I stayed quiet all day, pretended like I didn't find anything. And then not only did I show off that I got that, but then I revealed that I'm better at hunting for my friends, and that not only did I get one Metalhead, but I got you yours too. And just the reaction I got made everything from that day worth it.
That is true. That's true.
So because like, it was a mix between you're pissed off at me for making you feel bad all day by not saying I got them, but you also were so happy that I found it.
After the show, I ran upstairs and told Kristen. I was like, Mike got it. Mike got it.
Oh, man. And I'm not gonna lie, when you said you had another one from the Turtles, I was like, is this gonna be Metalhead or is this gonna be Krang? Because I feel like Krang is like real close for me with those two. Like they both look incredible. But Krang, I feel like, came with like so many accessories. I'm like, damn, like they stacked this figure, and it was all roughly the same price.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what it came down to is I felt like I had to choose one out of the two, and it just, I don't know. I think
I would say Metalhead is prettier.
Metalhead, yeah,
like if you're looking at him,
one's
he's
a robot
more...
turtle, and one's a tubby guy with a brain in his stomach. That's
it's true.
That's like literally the perfect. Yeah, you can't.
That's actually. I wrote both of those things down, and I was just. I had to circle one, and I went with Robot Turtle. So. Yeah,
he's just not as into tubby guys with a brain in their belly.
which is my loss.
All right, what's it got for us?
All right, number 5.
Ooh,
it's back.
Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah, it's the Mum-Ra with his cloth cape and his awesomeness, and he's great. He's great. I can't. You should put it in your cart, Jarmar, and just
click buy.
Just
click
buy.
Click
buy. I don't know if you saw. Big Bad Toy Store is doing an exclusive glow in the dark version. I don't know if that interests you at all.
That's what I was hitting towards, because I initially was going to put that in there, but then obviously it doesn't come out until like probably won't ship until next year. But then I thought, which one is like the definitive figure, and just going with that. Just the regular is hands down the best, and that's probably the one I'll get.
Yeah,
good old Lina.
When I asked him like for what things he needed me to get pictures for, I was just like, wait, the normal or the glow in the dark one? Because I couldn't remember when the glow in the dark one came out or not.
Yeah,
because I remember talking about it on the show.
I think it's at the end of January.
Yeah,
but yeah, so like he was like, oh, the normal one, like, oh, why the glow in the dark one's so fucking cool? And then I was like, oh, it doesn't come out yet. I was literally on Big Bad Toy Store to get some of these still photos just because it's easier than Googling them. And I'm not gonna lie, seeing like it like actually posed looks so much better than just the generic like poses they have in some of the photos. Like that cape just looks so cool.
It's the cape that like really gets me.
Like I get why they add the plastic one for the people who are super nostalgic and want it to be exactly like what they had, but I'm sorry, I could not imagine not just using the cloth cape with the wire. Like that just looks so good.
Oh yeah, I have the plastic one kind of sitting in the back of the display because it stands up on its own. And I shoved the other head up in the cloak, So it
Mhm.
works. Like it's kind of
That's
like
cool.
that, but yeah, the actual figure itself has to have the cloth cape on it.
Yeah, cloth capes are so much better.
Yep, especially when they got that wire.
Oh yeah. So I guess now me and Nate didn't coordinate this with the whole like back to back things, and I also have one that's a repeat from someone else's list, except for
Mm.
I am not biased and going to say fuck one of the figures. My number 4 pick is the NECA TMNT cartoon Splinter and Baxter Stockman 2-pack. We already talked about this figure a lot. I Baxter just looks amazing. This is adorable little sweater vest and his big red eyes that just say "keep me." But Splinter, like, can we just, like, his cloth like robe? It just so fantastic. The sculpting on him, his face, the amount of accessories this 2-pack came with is just mind blowing. Like, it is easily
Yeah.
the best 2-pack NECA has done so far.
I agree. It kind of
Cool.
like made me look back at all the other 2-packs, and yeah, like the Casey and Foot, and I thought, man, like, wait a minute, I didn't get that much stuff in there, but I guess you did get like each individual weapon for like Casey
Mhm.
Jones, so that's fair. And then like the Leatherhead and Slash was the same thing, but they just killed it with
Oh yeah,
this. Like even the mat that comes with it, just like
yeah.
that's just, oh my god, it's amazing.
And I will still call it a rug just because it ties the sewer together.
That's true.
It does. I think that is probably one of the better 2-packs. Like if they had put like Casey and April together, then you might
Yeah.
have some competition there.
Mhm.
But they've all kind of been with foot soldiers, or you have the Triceratron 2-pack, which is just
Yeah, I
two
forgot
of
about that.
the same figure.
Right.
And then what else was there?
There's the
recently?
Roadkill Rodney and General Trax.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there
So
was
I mean,
Trog and
then
Grander.
yeah, so they're all cool, but yeah, you're getting two really cool looking characters, and obviously Splinter is a big deal because he's
Mhm.
part of the main, the whole thing
Mhm.
together. But having that cool Baxter is neat too because it's one of the more unique looks.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I also feel like the reason why the accessories in this one feel like you're getting so much more is because 90% of the other 2-packs were so many reuse on guns and Ninja
Yeah,
Stars and,
that's
and
true.
stuff. Like, I think
Yep.
the only ones that really got anything new were Casey and April because they had Casey's weapons to go with his golf bag, and April had all of the recording stuff for her being a news girl. So I just feel like this one had everything, felt like it was a new accessory that they hadn't done before. So it just, like, I'm pulling everything out. I'm like, oh my god, oh, it just keeps coming. There's just so many things, and
Yeah.
especially Splinter just poses. It's like I have him in my, like, before the show started, he was just in this diorama behind me, which you can't see because it's just glowing red. But I have the turtles opening their Christmas presents, and he and Metalhead are just sitting on the couch like mom and dad watching, and he's just sitting there reading his book while they're like freaking out. So
That's awesome.
there's this, he's so, you could just do so many things with him, because if you watch my review on the channel, you'll even see I took photos where he's like training the turtles. Like, you can get him in like poses like
Yeah.
martial arts and stuff. So you can do so much with him. And Baxter, again, he's just too adorable. You can't say no to him.
Yeah.
What got me was him sitting with his legs crossed, the
Yeah,
Splinter
that's
Mhm.
awesome.
pose, holding it out. Like, oh man, that's so good, so good. But yeah,
All right, Jarmar,
liked it.
what's your number 4?
all right. So this one's from a line that I really haven't had anything else of. The only introduction to like these figures alone, like, were from Ninja Turtles that I had some years ago, and it's the Revoltech. Now, this specific figure was Midoriya from My Hero Academia. I absolutely love this figure in every kind of way. We talked about the lightning effects. They have some amazing lightning effects with Midoriya doing like his Detroit Smash.
Mm-hmm.
It's just phenomenal, and I love like their work on that. I had to settle for McFarlane's version of Midoriya, which is not quite the same, but yeah, I think I may end up still like eventually getting that one and kind of just pretending I never bought the McFarlane one, because I'll just have to be like, I don't know, I don't remember that. But for the price, the McFarlane one's good,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not even close to my top 10. I just had to get some representation of My Hero Academia on my shelf and in my collection. But this is going to be one that definitely will be added soon for sure. But I just love everything they do, man. It's so cool. And those are probably some of my favorite turtles that I own. And I'm
Yep.
like, I need I need some more representation from them.
I
That's why
love
I
those
put that on my
Rebel Tech
list.
Turtles.
It's so amazing, and yeah, I love it because it's 4 on my list. Isn't that crazy?
Right? It's,
So
it's
crazy.
hard to believe how close we are to getting done with the list. I will say, like, looking at this figure, I haven't watched the show, and I know Nate hasn't because on the weeks that you're off and I struggle to say some of the names, I look at him to get a correction, and he's got nothing. So I'm like, well, shit, Jamar's gonna be mocking us from his couch this time.
Yeah.
I know
And they
something.
have some cool names too.
Yeah. But like I see like these figures and I'm like, oh man, I'm so happy I don't watch this show because I'd fucking have that right now.
Yeah, especially with those effects pieces that they come with on these. Those are so cool.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any company right now that can compare into how the accessories for these figures look between the like giant words for like the expressiveness, the lightning, some of them come with explosive pieces, all the different face parts. I'm just like I just start drooling a little bit because I'm such an accessory whore, and I'm like, oh man, and I'm like, I'm so happy I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Please watch the show.
I've thought about it, but
You'll love it.
No, that's a whole rabbit hole I'll fall down. And
Yeah, like I already made the mistake of getting back into the Dragon Ball Z. I can't do it. I can't. The show may be fantastic, but my wallet, I will literally have to make a house out of all the boxes that I keep for these figures. If I go
It'll
down
be a
that
pretty
road.
house.
It will be a pretty house.
Very
but
They
tall.
do have really cool
but
boxes.
literally the first time it rains, my house will come tumbling down and it won't be pretty anymore.
does it really? Well, sometimes you get rain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I live on a mountain, so like I still
Yeah.
get weather. It's just not as often. Like we have a designated like 2-month span called monsoon season, and it still rains less than a week in Ohio would be. So I don't get as much of the wet weather, but I still do get it occasionally.
Man,
So it's like if you were like, I don't want a pet, but I go to PetSmart to look at the pets. It's kind of like that.
That's good. Just true.
All right, now, Nate, what do you got in your number 4?
All right, my number 4. This is my Marvel Legends representation.
I'm so glad you picked something because I couldn't figure out what to do for them.
Yeah. So mine is going to be Logan. This is the exclusive from, I guess, PulseCon was supposed to be SDCC. The funny thing about this is all the pictures that I saw of this before it came out looked terrible. And then I got it in hand because I love this movie, and I love it. It's absolutely stunning. The Hugh Jackman likeness is so dead on, and because this was an exclusive at a convention, and it is an R-rated figure, they can't sell it at retail. The claws on it are real sturdy and real sharp, which is awesome. You don't normally get this on a Marvel Legends. You actually got 2 sets, bloody and then clean. And I kept the clean ones. I'm going to hold them back to like another really good Logan figure or Wolverine figure I want to use them on. And the Professor X is great in this set too. But I just, the Wolverine or the Logan, I guess, is the one that I just absolutely love out of this. And it's incredible. So one of my favorite non-MCU Marvel movies, and just one of the coolest looking Hugh Jackman likenesses and use of accessories.
Yeah,
so,
I'm still sad that I didn't get it. Like I debated on it, but like you said, the pictures of it looked so bad.
Yeah,
and it's like for $50, I was like, I can't, because Marvel Legends, sometimes
they
show
anybody.
up way better, but
I
was like, I don't want to risk it. And if it did end up being as bad in person, I was like, then I couldn't even like try to sell it to get my money back at that point. And my biggest argument gets like, I love the fact that it was a con exclusive, so that way it could be better than a normal release. But they have Deadpool figures out. Like, yeah, they did a PG-13 version, but that is the most rated R movie that they've done.
What it is. It's all based off of
the fact that
it's a Deadpool. So it's all Deadpool 2, so that's why they were able to do it. So, yeah.
So weird.
Yeah,
it's weird how they get around it, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah. I just wish they, maybe do something like I guess it was exclusive to a con, but I thought like, maybe something on the store. I would love to see like a re-release of that, because like you said, that's up there, like Marvel. I don't think I've ever had like an emotional experience in like a Marvel movie. Like even MCU, there's been a couple, but like Logan, man,
I feel that movie,
rough.
Logan was more emotional for me than Tony Stark dying. I'm just gonna say it now.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
That movie was fantastic.
That was my Wolverine. Just like how Tony Stark is, or Robert
Tony
Downey Jr.
Stark is
like,
my Iron Man.
no, like you look at that actor, and it was the same feeling. So to see that, man, it really bums me out. I didn't even know that was a thing. So that would have been a nice kid.
Yeah. So it's
Also,
definitely worth tracking down, and if whatever it prices for, it's worth it.
I might still hunt it down at some point, but I want to call bullshit right now because Jarmar did know because we talked about it on the show.
There's a pack out right now that you can get at Target. That's not the same one.
No, the pack at Target is Professor X and Magneto.
Wait, no, there's
we literally talked about the announcement.
There is
what's
Wolverines.
Well, yeah, there's Wolverines, but they're from the shittier movies.
Okay.
But no, like this 2-pack, we literally on an episode had a segment where we talked about the entirety of the HasCon exclusives that are coming out.
Oh, okay.
This was back in June or July when we first started because they were supposed to be con exclusive for San Diego before it got canceled.
That's right. You also have to remember that I have the brain of a goldfish, so I already forgot what you just said.
Touche.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to hunt that one down because he just looks so cool. even just on like webcam, like that looks significantly better than the shots that they posted on all of Hasbro's websites. Like whoever takes their photos needs to get fired, and they need to hire me.
Yeah, normally
because
they knock it out of the park with those photos. They look way better than what a figure is. But this one,
yeah, but they looked like if you couldn't quite afford the likeness to the actors, so you had to make them slightly off. That's what that felt like looking at this.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. And he came with a non-screaming head too. That's really good. But I like this one because
I feel like that pretty much is the epitome of the entire movie right there.
Yep.
All you need now is a beat up old limo.
I don't have one.
That's honestly surprising.
It's gonna be like
I figured you would have been like, oh yeah, I was at a yard sale once 5 years ago, and they had this like kind of Barbie-esque like
Ken doll.
Yeah, I don't. That's the one thing. I don't keep a lot of like crap. If I'm not into it, it doesn't stick around.
Yeah,
that's reasonable. So we're getting close. We're in the final countdown. We've got number three. So this is the last one on my list that I don't have yet. And that is because it has released from the manufacturer and been shipped directly to people, but it has not hit Big Bad Toy Store yet and probably won't until like February, knowing my luck. And that is the Super 7 Ultimates TMNT Leonardo. I could have given it to Raph, but fuck no, I wasn't. If I could squeak Leonardo in here, the second best turtle, over Raphael, then I was going to do it. As much as I would love to have it in hand and be like, look at this figure, I would much rather just pipe in a picture of Leonardo than give Raph extra credit and give Jarmar more reason to mock me.
No.
I think you mispronounced fourth best turtle, though.
Oh,
thank you. Well,
what?
No, third best.
You like Raphael more than Leonardo?
Yes.
Oh.
But I am strictly the A- team. So, I mean, it is Donatello and Michelangelo all the way.
I mean, Donatello is always number one, yeah, but he's not come out. We're going to talk about him. He's going to be my number one next year while I'm still waiting for him to ship in January again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking, too. We won't get him next year either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I mean, I guess we could discuss this, but then I should just probably go to my number 3 as well. Because I, unlike you, didn't bitch out. And I have I went along with the Super 7. That's my number 3. So the only reason I felt like it was okay is because he's your favorite turtle, so it's fine. And I figured you were going to be afraid to show him. I think you might have muted yourself because you love him so much.
I hate you. He is not my favorite turtle. Just because I got that, he was the first one released, and I was like, these figures are amazing. You need to jump on this now. We've made a mistake by mocking these figures for the past few months.
That's what I wanted to say, is that I initially, when I saw these, I'm like, okay, so they're just going to try and remake the Playmate figures. Okay, that's fine. They look silly. And then we started getting more and more photos. And then you showed the picture of the swappable head. And I was 100% in. And I'm like, I didn't jump on it. And then this is, again, another one of those shit moments. But I did end up finding it through some random website that never updated me on my tracking information until it was at my house. So that was a scary situation. But I now have all the rest of the line pre-ordered, and I'm so excited for the rest of those to come out. But I mean, I wasn't gonna choose Leo because I mean, realistically, it's D and D minus. So might as well go with the one that I have in my hand. Sorry, Leo.
Oh man, I just want to point out. So the funny story about Raph, because if you remember, I accidentally ended up with 2.
Yeah,
because I pre-ordered it on Amazon. It was like $30 over retail, but I was like, I don't care as long as I get it, since everyone was sold out at that point. And I literally, they put them back up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. I put it in my cart, fell asleep before I hit submit. So I could have had it at retail, but I fucked up when they like put them up.
How do you do that? How do you?
Because I literally like someone. So I was in bed and I was just casually scrolling through Twitter and Instagram, and someone posted they're back up on Big Bad Toy Store. Go get them, and I rushed through it and I logged in. I got all the way to the end, and I legitimately for months thought that maybe not months, but weeks thought that I had put the order in, and then they started showing up. People were like, "Oh yeah, I got my free." I'm like, "Huh." So I go and check my orders. I'm like, "Motherfucker!" So the only thing I could think of is that I forgot to hit submit, or I didn't hit it like spot on because I didn't have my glasses on, and then I fell asleep just thinking, "Yeah, I got it."
Okay.
But you went to bed happy.
Yeah, it wasn't just like I'm a narcoleptic and I fell asleep with it in my hand or anything. It was literally more of like I thought I did all the steps, but apparently I missed one and just went to sleep like an idiot thinking I did it right. But then, so I, like the week before the Amazon one was going to ship, because it was a third party, Wes hit me up. He's like, "Hey, in one of the figure groups, there's a retailer in Ohio that's selling it. He's a local guy, but he's selling it for like $60 plus shipping." So I'm like, okay, that's only like what, $15 more than the retail price. So I was like, okay, I can do that. So I hit him up, and I legitimately got it in like 2 days after that. Well, I went to cancel the Amazon one, which was $10 more, and I got an email back saying, "Hey, if I cancel this, there's a restocking fee because it's already shipped from the manufacturer, and we're going to be doing it in a couple of days." And then they went further because technically they're not allowed doing that. So what they did is they made a tracking number for it. They actually went in and made a label like it was going to be shipped while they waited for it to come in so they could dispute my cancellation, because they couldn't legally, by Amazon's rules, take money from me if I cancel my order. So I was like, whatever, just fucking send it. I'll trade it off or something. And then I even offered it to Jarmar for what I paid for it. And he's like, "No, I don't want it." And then a week after I sold it, he bought one anyway.
But I did save money.
You did save like $10. I will give you that.
I saved $10.
But I thought it was another one where it was like, well, I ended up with 2 and you still didn't want it.
I mean, we don't have to talk about my blenders this year, but I will bring up this shredder as well. That was another one that I was
like, "Oh my god, yeah!" You was like, "I'm not paying $20 for shipping," and then for the next 6 months, I hear him crying that they haven't shipped his made-to-order one yet.
Oh man!
All right. So since we apparently had combined to number 3, are you going to surprise us and have Super 7 Raph on your list too?
I don't. It is Ninja Turtles though.
Oh.
So this is my NECA representation. So I had to go with Casey Jones.
Ooh, yeah.
I was 11 years old when this movie came out, and I just loved it. I loved the actor, I loved the portrayal, I loved everything. I loved the look. I mean, the whole thing was so cool. I wanted this figure so bad when I was a kid. We never got it. Even when they did the movie Star Turtles, they didn't do it because those were based off the second movie. And then when they finally did one for the third movie, it was stupid and terrible. And so we never got this. And yeah, it would have been nice to have a removable, mask or whatever. But at the same time, I wouldn't have displayed it without it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, technically, if you heat him up and pop his mask off, he has his face anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
And they've already basically said that they're going to release him without the mask. So if you really want it, you can have a second one.
Yep. but I love this. I love this. This was, this was the beginning of just the total summer turtle meltdown of going to stores in the middle of a pandemic when I had not been going to stores, and then I started going. So I got mine relatively early, but I love it. It's awesome. I love the Raphael too. It's a lot of reuse, but it's smart reuse, and I like it.
I mean, I love that Raphael so badly that I had to get 4 of them so I could have a trench coat for every turtle.
But they didn't appear in the movie like that.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
It's headcanon. Headcanon.
Yeah, it's headcanon.
You gotta imagine at some point the turtles went
Exactly.
out.
It's not like they just like robbed one fat dude and took his coat and hat and just never got 3 others. Like only one of them can leave at one time.
I like that you can do that. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I've got just sitting over here my 2 extra Raph and Leos that I wrapped their arms and legs in bandages to make them like closer to like comic book versions of the turtles. So, like, I do all sorts of shit that you would probably drive you crazy.
Not legal. It's not legal.
I do. So I feel like the NECA Turtle stuff just brings like the best stories, because that's another one where like it was during the pandemic and neither of my Walmarts had NECA sections, so I relied 100% on Jarmar, and like I was basically his oracle. I'm like on the internet just looking at Pop Finder and Brickseat. I'm like, go, they're there, and then he's rushing there to grab them for us.
Leaving work, I left work multiple times, skipped lunches just to go. And the story had like a great ending. It was a huge shout out to my wife, who was pregnant at the time, and drove. Nate, you understand the distance. She was at Best Buy. She left from work and drove out to Massillon.
I remember that.
To Walmart. Yeah, and they wouldn't sell them to her because they were on the truck. So then we went that morning, picked them up at Massillon, and then even drove further out to Worcester to get the extra for Mike's trench coat army.
Yes, my trench coat mafia, sir. Get it right.
But yeah. Out of pain comes good stories.
Yeah.
We can all look back on it and be like, that was wonderful when we were all just going nuts.
You said pandemic. I totally forgot that there was a pandemic going on with that.
Right? That was like where the chaos first started, where NECA was like, hey, we know you could potentially die, but if you really want these figures, you'll do it anyway. And then you won't find them, so it'd be for nothing.
I wore my mask.
I still mildly feel bad. I don't think he watches the show, so he won't know. But a buddy of mine had a friend who worked at Walmart. He was supposed to hold one back for him, and then you and your wife bought both.
Bought both of them, and then I ran into him at Target.
And then he got that Casey Jones, so I didn't really feel bad after that. I also helped him find the 2-pack, because there was a day where I finally said fuck it, because I still needed one more to complete my Trenchcoat Mafia, and about an hour and a half away there was a Walmart that claimed they had 6 of them, so I drove there. But at the time it had the generic SKU, so I was like, oh, maybe they have the 2-packs, because I really was like, I need extra ones to do my fancy wrap-up ones. And it was nothing but Raph and Casey, but I was like, okay, I'll grab one for me, and I grabbed one for him, shipped it to him. And also when I think it was when I shipped your Metalhead, I made sure to send your wife a Starbucks gift card for her handling of Casey and Raph.
There was one in there. Yeah. That's funny.
Good times, man.
Nice. Really good times.
It's hard to believe that a year so shitty had so many weird fun memories.
There was some good stuff in there, as bad as things were.
This was this year. I kept thinking that was last year. Yeah.
It does. It feels like so long ago. Like, I feel like I've lived through 2 summers at this point.
Jamar, do you remember waiting outside the Targets for the Turtles? I mean, here too.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
I should have put those on my list. Whoops.
Is it on mine?
Ooh, I know.
I mean, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I kept the saxophone and I kept a couple accessories, and then I just ended up selling the rest of them, because I was like, they're cool, but
they're awesome.
They creep me out.
They're coming out of their shells, Michael.
I was too young. I was too young to remember it. Hell, you told your story about being 11 when the movie came out. I wasn't born when the movie came out. So the fact that the movie resonated with me as much as it did is impressive, let alone to think that this weird concert tour of Nightmares would have done anything for me.
Same summer.
Yeah.
I was 11. I had that tape, man. I rocked it.
So we're down to the wire. We've got number 2. So my number 2 is going to be kind of mildly surprising because it's a little bit out of the box. But Storm Collectibles, I feel like, deserves some recognition because they put out some incredible stuff. And some of it is stuff like, I don't even fucking know what it's from. I know it's like a video game,
Right.
but like I never played it, and I just really liked it. And after months and months of them being sold out, both on Bluefin's website and on Big Bad Toy Store, because I failed to shit or get off the pot and missed out. I finally managed to get them at retail price, and that is the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe Skeleton Warrior 2-pack. These things are so fucking cool. Like the amount of articulation, like I don't even know where over there on my shelf their swords and shields are. I've posed them with random weapons. I've posed one of them playing on a smartphone. I've had one sitting there just reading a book like he's taking a shit. Like I've done so many things that have nothing to do with them being skeleton warriors, just because they're skeletons and they're super posable. And the only thing I don't like is the fact that they're slightly bigger in scale because Storm Collectibles does a bigger scale than most of their lines. So I have to pretend that these are dead basketball players who have come back to kill all of my other characters, because like size-wise, they're at least 7 feet tall compared to the normal 6 feet tall people. And I think was it me and you, Jarmar, where like I showed them off on the show and I had to figure out 2 basketball players' names.
2 players that were really tall. Yeah. And I was like,
because I was like, the only one I know who's like freakishly tall is Shaq. And then I eventually just said LeBron. I'm like, I don't think he's as tall as Shaq, but he's the only other one aside from like Michael Jordan.
He's taller than you.
Yeah, he's taller than
Michael
me.
Jordan
So I'm 6 foot.
Wasn't quite that tall, but yeah.
Like I'm 6 foot tall and they're taller than me, so I guess it still works. But yeah, I was just like, they're dead basketball players that have been brought back to life to fight Batman, like, or Hellboy.
Sweet.
Yeah, of course. That storyline was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that a lot in the comics.
Man, Elseworld stories are great.
Oh man. Am I up?
Yeah, you're up. Unless anyone wants to continue.
You can't take a sip when it's changing.
Well, I was casually waiting to see if anyone wanted to add anything into my skeleton.
I think they're great.
Talk. And
I would like to get them as well, but I don't. Golden Axe is of my era, and I don't remember it.
Yeah, I knew it was a video game, like an arcade game, but I'd never played it, and realistically, I'd only heard of it in name.
I think I've only played it like on Sega. I want to say it was like on Sega Genesis, but yeah, cool game. Cool skeletons. Let's talk about number 2 on my list. And it is a figure that I am, more than any figure I mentioned that I haven't had in my hand and I'm waiting for, more than Ellie, more than Leo, the third best turtle, is this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales from Mafex. And it's been a long time. This was actually a birthday gift initially for me. My birthday was in September. If you do the math, it's December. And it is finally signs that people are getting them in their hand. So I will be getting it sometime here in 2021. Could it be on my top 10 list next year? We'll make an exception. I don't know. But like, first of all, I absolutely love the movie. I love everything about the character. And I want so bad to have a Mafex character because they're always so cool. Mike's showing off his, and he's like, oh, these are badass. And that came up, and I was like, yo, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get one. And it was one of those things that I kept putting in the cart, and Kristen was like, just order it. And I'm like, I don't know. And she was like, all right, I'm going to order it for you for your birthday without telling me. And now I've been waiting since then. But I just love everything about it, and I'm probably going to go on eBay now and order my retro Air Jordan 1s, so I'll be perfectly ready to just pop those shoes off and put those ones on, and oh my god, I can't wait. It just can't wait. I'm so excited for this figure. This will probably be number 1 over any Turtles. I'm just being real with you.
That's
it's
awesome.
a big plan.
I can't wait to even just get the Marvel Legends one, because they look great too, but that Mafex one looks incredible. So
yes,
all these new movie Miles look great, because I think SH Figure Arts is doing one too.
I almost caved multiple times, and I was like, all right, for the price of this one, I could just get the entire line for the Marvel Legends, and then I'm like, man, I just gotta keep holding out hope that I'm gonna get this figure. So I'm just gonna stick with it. I probably will end up still getting the Marvel Legends line just because, like, I just have to support everything great about this movie. There's so many great characters. Not that much because I'm not gonna get the.
You're not gonna get Peter B. Parker and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Ham when they come to Mafex.
It'll be the Marvel Legends
in 2022.
Marvel Legends line.
Yeah,
Marvel
those
Legends
you can get the Marvel Legends. Yeah.
I will warn you
It
now.
looks like
I've been watching. I watched a review. You might have
Mm-hmm.
to. You might have to just not get Spider-Gwen because she does not scale well with the smiles.
Really?
Well, because
Well, I
Mafex
guess,
is already
yeah.
a smaller scale, so with him being like 13, he's super tiny. And
Right.
with Legends, like even the Legends Miles is good, like inch taller. So she's almost like an inch and a half taller, and like you can it's passable with Peter B. Parker because they're like he's supposed to be taller because he's a full grown adult. But yeah,
right.
I'd pass on Spider-Gwen with the Legends if you want him to look to scale.
Oh well, I'm just gonna do all the Legends and then.
Oh, you're just gonna get the entire,
Mafex,
including
Spider-Verse.
him, and then have him separate.
Correct.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Correct.
Go for it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this figure is incredible. I have Jarmar syndrome with this figure. I keep putting it in my cart, and then was like, no, don't do it, because that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go in. Because if I get him, I will have to get Peter B. Parker, and I will have to get Spider-Gwen with Spider-Ham. That's just there's no debate about it. Because the soft goods look so cool on it.
Yeah.
I remember like me and you discussing because Sentinel announced theirs, but theirs was all plastic and mold and like swappable parts, and you're like, oh, this one's so cool, but it was like I think it was like $10 or $20 more expensive anyway. Oh, one of my lights just fell down. And I was just like, yeah, but the soft goods on the Mafex, like, yeah, you've been waiting, but I feel like this one's gonna be like so much cooler than having those as just hard pieces that you have to swap out.
Right. I'm gonna hold out, and it's gonna pay off. I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's
calling
just
it. You'll get it in
unfortunately
January.
Mafex is a little bit behind.
A little
But
bit. They're like
they'll
30,
get 'em.
30 figures deep, Nate.
Yeah.
And they keep announcing new shit every week that I have to talk about.
I know. I wasn't gonna mention the 30 part, but yeah. They're pretty behind.
Yeah, just a smidgen. All right,
Yeah,
so what's Nate's number 2? I'm really curious.
Number 2, yeah. So this is my Star Wars representation, and this is hands down Black Series was already on fire this year as it was. Count Dooku, it was incredible. Beats out any import version. The Attack of Clones, Anakin Skywalker, all the Mandalorian figures have been incredible. But the top one for me was Cad Bane.
Ooh.
This was just awesome. I mean, down for the giant hat, the breathing tubes, the coat, the guns, the little igniters or little jets on his feet. I mean, they really did their job on this one. There's no reuse parts. This is all original. They really took care of this character, which is awesome to see for something that was just, only an animation. This thing was awesome. And I just, I put the hat on him out of the package, and I was just like, oh my God, this thing looks amazing. And he looks exactly like he's supposed to, which is like an old spaghetti Western character in the Star Wars universe, which I love. So it's my favorite Star Wars figure they've released this year, and it's my second favorite figure overall.
So this might be spoilers because I don't know his fate in the cartoon, but I wouldn't be surprised because I feel like he'd fit in the Mandalorian universe perfectly. Like obviously he'd be significantly older at that point, but he's an alien, so they could basically say like, oh, they age different. Yoda was fucking like 800 years old, so who gives a shit? But
900.
900, yes. So like I feel like he'd fit in perfect with the Mandalorian universe, especially with like how many characters they're pulling from Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and Rebels.
I do think they need to be careful. Like all that talk about Mace Windu, it made me a little nervous. I was like, I don't need them to bring back every dead character. Like Boba Fett made sense.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have any proof Mace Windu is dead. He fell out of a window, and the Emperor survived way worse than that. So
that's true.
Okay.
As much as it would be hype for Mace Windu, but I'm kind of with you, Nate. Like we don't have to just use. Let's not use the show as like the revival for all the characters we want to see again.
I had created an entire headcanon of how the finale with like someone coming for Grogu, how the fuck it's pronounced.
Grogu.
Like coming to get him after he sat on the rock and communed with the Force. And I was like, what better way than to be like, this motherfucker calling me Colette from the other side of the universe. wanting me to come get him just because I had some other green little motherfucker by my side for all those years. Like, that would have been... I had created this entire world where he came back just because it was like Yoda... He was Yoda's, like... They were 1 and 2, man. They were like Batman and Robin in the prequels. And I'm like, what better way? He's like, ha, now guess what, green bitch? Now you number 2.
Another.
I ain't no sidekick.
As much as it would have been hype to see that final episode and you see the purple lightsaber, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I totally love that. And there's actually some, well, Mandalorian alone has got me to look for some other of like the Clone Wars figures, because I'm gonna get Ahsoka at some point, just because, my God, that episode was so amazing, and I need to, I gotta have that character along with my Mandalorian. So.
Especially if we're getting our own show.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But now it makes me wonder: should I just get the Clone Wars version, or do I wait?
Which one do you have more attachment to?
I don't know. I'm currently going through the golden path, if you will, of watching Clone Wars. So like, I'm watching the more important shows, and so far, instant connection with her. She's a pretty dope character. So
where are you at?
God, I can't tell you because the way the list is. I literally have to go.
You're doing.
Yeah, I'm going through. Yeah, it's like this is the best way to watch it. I'm like 15 episodes in. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, when you watch it chronologically, she only gets better, because at first she was awful. Like, that movie that came out was terrible, and
I started with the movie, and it's like, okay, but yeah,
the movie's not good.
No, I watched it though.
I'm not gonna lie, the movie's the reason why I didn't watch the show.
Yeah, a lot of people did. I didn't watch the show initially either. I went and saw the movie in theaters, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. This is not for me.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until probably like season 4 that I even started paying attention. So I was definitely late. But yeah, she's great. I mean, you can definitely get that current one, which is a Walmart exclusive, but they'll definitely be doing a Rosario Dawson version, especially because of the show. But, I think later, in the later half of next year, we'll get a lot of those characters. We'll get her, we'll get Boba Fett, things like that. So.
Yeah, no lie, I'm going to need Boba Fett, his new fancy painted up version of his armor.
Yep.
Like that, and
he
may be a little tubby and not quite fit like he used to.
Yeah,
but that figure.
The second appearance he was good. But the first one, oof.
I mean, sometimes when you get swallowed by a Sarlacc pet, you get a little hungry.
He was busting stormtroopers in the head.
Oh yeah, he shattered. Like, he showed how weak that armor is. He's like cheap plastic garbage.
Since we're on that topic, we got to get like a shattered stormtrooper. That would be amazing. Absolutely,
especially on
amazing.
That new body.
That
would be awesome.
That'd be dope. But
right. So the time has come.
Oh yeah,
is number 1.
We're at number 1. So I am going to. This one was hard. I literally went through like 4 or 5 figures. I'm like, oh damn, what was my number 1 figure of the year? Like, what figure did I like? I even was going through my own reviews and be like, what figure did I really like pop for? Which one was like, oh my god, I've waited for this. It was worth the wait. I had the least complaints about, and it has to be my Mafex Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller Batman. Like, I'm normally very 50-50 on Mafex figures just because of the scaling. Like, the Hush Batman bothered me because he seemed so scrawny. It's like I couldn't cross the streams of any other line. But this beefy boy fits in anywhere. Like, they did this figure perfectly. The accessories he came with, the cape, at first I didn't like the weird pleatedness of it, but it just works with just the way that it flows behind him. And they even give you hands so you can have him holding his cape while it's like in the wind. So this figure had to be my number 1, especially with how many variations they're coming out with. That I'm going to buy. We've got like a battle damaged one in the blue from when he fights the mutant leader. We've got armored Batman. We've got 2-pack with him and Robin. We're getting Joker. Like, they're essentially,
I think they tease Superman too.
Yeah, like they're clearly going to do Superman. Yeah. I'm hoping that maybe they hear my wishes and do like a mud pit 2-pack between the mutant leader and Batman where they're covered in mud. Cool. Like, everything that I've wanted Mezco to do since they did incredible Dark Knight Returns figures and then just stopped and said, fuck you, we're not finishing that line. Mafex was like, here, you want?" And I'm like, "Yes, please, sir. May I have some more?"
Well, I will say I was looking through like some of the Batman figures that had released this year, and I was thinking like, man, I could got a little confused because I was like, which ones actually shipped, which ones were just like,
Oh, because
this
there's
was
so many.
announced.
Yeah, that's a hard to.
Yeah, I wanted to get something on the list just out of respect because every time we see one, every single time, I'm like, God, this is so awesome. This is amazing, and I'm kind of happy that Batman just isn't like my Ninja Turtles because I would be.
Oh yeah, Batman life is a hard life. Like if you are a hardcore Batman fan, there's so many versions that they release. Especially McFarlane.
Yes.
McFarlane's got probably 30 different Batmans, and they've been doing this for like a year.
Just this year.
Yeah. So like
I started this year.
I would cry myself to sleep every night if I was someone who had to buy every Batman figure.
Yeah, that would be tough.
All right, Jarmar, what is your number one?
All right. Well, first, before I announce my number one, I'm just gonna say fuck you. These are amazing.
I knew it.
Nate, shame on you for not being on your top at all.
That's fair.
Obviously,
I'll take it.
it is I'm just gonna say it. It's the out of the shell, coming out of the shell turtles. I know the name had to get changed, like the person, whatever. But these earlier, like I said, zany. I like cool and zany, and this is as far left as you could possibly get for a Ninja Turtle figure. I was a youngling when this was a thing, but that was something that, like, you know, it was one of those things of your mom trying to shelter you from bad words and music, and somehow I came across this cassette, and my God, it just set me on fire. And these toys, it's just so amazing. Like the detail, it's just NECA at its best in the most weird way. There's leg warmers. The leg warmers are amazing. The jackets are like, look straight like someone custom these. Like it's just, it's phenomenal. And the fact that you get all four, the box turns into like the stage. I still have it on display with like a cool LED light. It just looks like I need to get like a little smoke machine to push through on there. Like these are hands down my favorite turtle figures that I've gotten this year, and it's close in the running to like the Revoltech turtles just because it's just crazy. Like, we got this. Like, this turtle figure exists. That's insane to me. It's mind blowing, and now it makes me feel like anything is on the table, and I love that
for sure.
I love it.
So, I don't know why it's not on my list.
It's fair.
The only reason I forgot about them, only because like some things have gotten moved around, and I'm looking right at them now. Like they got put behind something, and I forgot about them. So
that's fair.
That's on me. But those are great. They're great. I love them. No, everything. I can't disagree with anything you said.
I'm not gonna disagree. They aren't. I'm not gonna say they're not really cool. I'm not gonna say they didn't knock it out of the park with the amount of detail they had and all that. I'm just gonna say that version of the turtles looks like it's literally gonna set you on fire. Like I even when you look at the pictures of the real deal, I'm just like, that looks like something you'd see in the dumpster at Chuck E. Cheese because it tried to kill a child. Like it just,
better.
They're just terrifying to me. Like that's the only reason why I wasn't into them, was because I was not born yet, so I didn't get to torture my parents with a cassette tape of the Ninja Turtles singing, and I also just they creep me out. Like
and they should.
And that's honestly that's part of the charm with it. And then the mouth, like their mouth's open, like it's just there's all the creepy things that I felt, you know, about these turtles. They put it in the figure, and it's perfect.
Oh yeah,
it's just absolutely perfect.
It's literally like if Randy was like making a deal with Satan to find a way to make these as creepy as they were in real life, and it worked. And they came out like it literally looked like they went and found those actors who played that on the stage and threw them in a machine and shrunk them down and stole their souls and just reproduced it over and over again. Like,
I love it.
It's definitely like, they're really cool, but they were not for me.
And I just have to say, one of the only NECA released this year that could stand without needing a stand. Oh my god!
Touché. My god, yeah.
Oh my god. It seems like it's so hard for them to do that.
Joke's on you, because Krang, even with a stand, won't fucking stand.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I put him back in the box.
I've got mine's literally buried behind the rest of my characters just because he keeps falling forward and backwards, And I'm just
Yeah.
like, you're gonna fucking tumble off, and I'll be so mad when you break. So
You
I'm just
bastard.
like, okay, Rocksteady, Bebop, and the boys, you need to hold this fat motherfucker up.
Right. Oh man, I love it. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Um, well, I did neglect to put them on the list. They would not have made my number one. My number one has been set in stone since the very beginning of the year.
Oh.
I went back and looked. I received these on January 14th of this year. And the only fight for number one was really which one of this wave that I was going to put on there. And the clear-cut winner is the William Stout collection, Dark Despot Skeletor, otherwise known as Movie Skeletor.
Yeah.
So, again, this is another one of those things. I was 9 years old when this movie came out. It's not good, and yet I still love it. I absolutely love it. Skeletor is one of my favorite things about it. I mean, the dude that plays it, Franklin Gela, he's awesome. The look is cool. He is obviously having a good time. And this figure just it nails it. It was the last official Masters of the Universe classics that came out was this wave, which was He-Man, this Skeletor, the God Skeletor from the end of the movie, and Karg, and they're all great. But this one, Skeletor, is one of my favorites. And then just getting this version of this movie figure is just incredible.
So
I remember seeing those, like, people post them online. I'm just like, oh man, it looks really cool. I had no idea there was a live action He-Man movie.
Yeah. Yep. 1987.
I was this old. Yeah, when I figured that out, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
It just also confused me. Like, why did they not just at least make his like face yellow or green or something? Why did they go for like a white? Like they were like, oh no, he's a Skeletor, so he has to be like a normal skeleton.
Well, that's. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. I can.
Oh, okay. It dropped out for a second. That's one of the weird things about this is why it's called the William Stout Collection, because the guy who did all the designs, he didn't allow Mattel to make figures of it, and he did it all on his own, and so that's why they look so different from what the characters came from. But they were able to work a deal with Super 7 to get these made, and like I saw an interview somewhere that even said it was because Mattel wasn't involved that these got made. So there's still some bad blood there. 34 years later.
Wow.
Yeah. So he hates Mattel as much as we all hate Playmates.
Yeah.
Well, I got some... Playmates isn't all bad.
No, it's. Yeah.
Jarmar, you can't say that. You literally have a video on the internet where you talk about how much you hate Playmates. So.
That still stands.
All right, well, we've made it through the countdown, boys. We got all the way to the one. So that means only one thing. Normally we would be doing weekly purchases, but I felt like this time around, especially since we just got through the holidays and it's the Festivus special, that instead we should do our holiday haul. Like, what toys did you get from the holiday, if any? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I only have a couple. But that's mostly because I asked for gift cards so I could pay for my new computer for when this one eventually just catches on fire and doesn't stop. So I have to assume Nate's going to have an entire segment dedicated to him like he does weekly purchases. So we'll save him for last because it's probably going to be the best.
Okay. Sort of, kind, not really.
Mine is super, super quick. At this point now, I can't remember how many of these I have. But did I just skip someone? Because I didn't have my headphones on. I couldn't hear.
No, I established that usually Nate has the best haul in general, so we were saving him for last.
So, of course, my family always has a hard time finding like Ninja Turtle things for me because, quite honestly, I have everything, and the things that I don't have, they're not going to pay for. So, my brother surprised me with some Ninja Turtle memorabilia, if I will, some things that I kind of actually did have, but not all of them. So he just hooked me up with like a full drop of all of the. Try to get this in the frame of all of the Hot Wheels. Cool. Yeah. So I got the Extendo Party Bus. We got like all of the other figures. I mean, you sent me this one earlier, Mike Donatello.
I mean, that was after I sat on it for 3 months because we forgot that I got it for you.
And now it goes cool with you shipping the party bus as well with that, or the party wagon party bus. But yeah, that was it. I mean, I don't really count the Krang as like a holiday haul
Yeah, because I
because
made you
I
pay
paid
for it. I didn't give it to you.
Take the Santa hat off. You're not Santa Claus.
Hey, I have the hat. Nate has the sack, and you are the jolly one. I don't know.
I would normally make a joke, but I don't want it to mess up the algorithm.
So yeah, my list is pretty short. A buddy of mine knows my love of Godzilla, but he also knows that I have like almost every NECA Godzilla that I want. So he got me this. I don't even know what the fuck it's called because I threw it in the package already. But it's like a body wobbler and it's solar powered. So I put him in the light and he jiggles his belly for me. So I was like, oh, that's adorable.
That's
I like
cute.
that. And then I also got. And this goes back to my action figures for my action figures. I only grabbed 2 of them because they're tiny and I didn't want to lose them. But I now have the full set of the Ninja Turtle ones.
Ooh.
So I grabbed the 2 best turtles, Donnie and Leo.
You mispronounced Michelangelo, but
Yeah, that's so sad, man.
But I have them actually posed with that like deluxe party wagon because they scale perfectly with it. Like it might be like just a hair off, but it's enough that it's passable like on a shelf in a display that you're not going to notice. The best thing I got though, and this one was really great. The girlfriend got me. She also got me the turtles, but the one Godzilla left on my list that I didn't have just because I couldn't pull the trigger on the price, and that is the NES version of the NECA Godzilla with the 8-bit deco and everything. And I thought this was so cool, but it was like $60 to $80 on eBay, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do it. I can't. There's so many other things I need to get. And then she surprised me with it for Christmas, so I was super excited to finally get this. Ironically, my buddy who got me the body wobbler was texting her asking her what Godzilla figures I wanted, and she intentionally didn't tell him because she wanted to get the only one I needed for herself to give me.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But that wraps mine up. Like I said, most of my stuff was gift cards this year. So
I actually don't really get any figures for Christmas. Most of my stuff I do pre-order and order. It's impossible to know what I'm gonna get.
That's my problem. I always like I'd rather get it for myself than trust someone else to get it. So usually people can't figure out what to get me.
Yeah,
Right.
but I did get 2 things. One the day before Christmas, and then one just today. So I thought I would show those off. And both of them come in cool outer boxes. The thing I got the day before Christmas,
I think I know.
was I got my PowerCon
Ooh.
Lords of Power Masters of the Universe Origins set. So what this is the original pitch for Masters of the Universe was going to be called Lords of Power, and they had different looks for the original merchandising information. So they did this set, and it comes in this really awesome case.
That's cool.
That's really cool. I like that
And
artwork.
then, yeah, when you open it up,
Whoa.
the figures are
man.
inside, and they do have a different look to them. They're this Lords of Power, so they look totally different. There's a lot going on here. I just, as a Masters fan, I just had to get something like this. I was not expecting it before Christmas. It was shipping out the PowerCon people who were supposed to go at the beginning of December, and I thought, well, the one I ordered from Big Bad Toy Store won't arrive until after Christmas. And then there was a $250 charge on my card
Oh, that's
on Christmas Eve.
That's unfortunate.
Or not on Christmas Eve. It was a couple days beforehand, but I had him ship it because I wanted to get it, and I did. I do love it. I just haven't got a chance to play around with it too much yet. And the other thing I got today, which also is nostalgia wrapped in a box, I did a pre-order on Walmart.com for $40. I took a chance on the comic series Ninja Turtles, and I'm honestly, I know they're playmates, so Jarmar, but
I hurt your eyes.
I like them. Like,
let me.
they're
Oh, you
kind of
can't
the
see your
ones.
blur, but I have them on the wall. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not mad about these. And let me find the Splinter, because I thought the Splinter was actually pretty cool. But yeah, this was only $40,
Mhm.
and I thought that was pretty decent of a price. Yeah, there's the Shredder.
I thought the Shredder was
Which is
cool.
still
They
that
did
terrible mold,
but at least they did the cool
the
comic book
color.
colors.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was pretty cool.
Oh,
So-
Mike, don't look.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's not the furry one, so it won't,
Oh,
it won't
that's
give me
just-
PTSD.
Well, and speaking of, that's the big rumor that the next set like this is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
the movie stars. Set. And,
See,
you know,
I might
honestly,
jump on that. Actually.
Yeah, I'm into this. Like, I like
Yeah.
these, especially for the price. I never got the first box because I had those figures before from when Toys R Us released them, like years ago. So I didn't need them. So that's really my Christmas haul. Like my wife got me like some Harley statue things, but other than that,
Not
I
bad.
got a blanket with my
Oh.
dog's face on it.
Oh, there you go.
I forgot.
Oh,
I
Jamar
don't
has
feel
one
like
more.
going back to go get it. I did a Secret Santa at work, and someone got me
Oh,
a
yeah.
Q-Fix statue of Donatello, and
Nice.
it's really good. I know this isn't like all about statues because it has no articulation and whatnot,
It's
but
collectible.
it's quite phenomenal. And I don't want to go get it, but their sculpt is amazing. Like it's really cool, and there's a lot of detail in it that I love. So now I have to go buy the other one. So it really wasn't it was a gift,
It
but
was
now
a gift
it's like
that
now
keeps
a
on
burden.
taking.
Right. Now I have to get the other three, but at like $20 or so, that's not bad.
That's
at
not
all.
bad,
It might
yeah.
have been like
Yeah.
$14.99, something like that. But yeah, that was it.
All right,
Awesome.
awesome. So I mean that's it for our top 10 Festivus special. Hopefully you enjoyed watching us gabber on for 2 hours now about the toys that we thought were the best this year, and hopefully you left your top 10 list in the bottom so we can take a look at that and see if there's more things that Nate missed because they're hidden on your shelf somewhere. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And make sure to catch Modern Toy Fair news on Fridays and Modern Toy Fair reviews on Mondays. If you are an audio listener and you don't enjoy staring at our faces, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Anchor, and other podcast apps you know and love. But before we go, Jamar, please let our viewers know why they should check out Why Are You a Gamer?
Well, outside of the fact that it's a podcast produced by me, yours truly, Michael's YouTube wife. But it's just a great fun time. If you enjoy stories about nostalgia, Why You're a Gamer is pretty much embodies that. And we will be coming back here with the season 2. I'm just still really dealing with it. Feels like this is my therapy session of how hard it is to like run a full podcast with a child, a newborn at that. So yeah, working on that. But we got some stuff coming up. So just follow me at Jarmar Games _games.
Awesome. And Nate, don't worry, I didn't forget to call you to the front of the class. Tell everyone a little bit about Figuratively Speaking podcast.
Figuratively Speaking podcast is a awesome podcast about action figures that is currently on hiatus for the entirety of 2020 because my co-hosts are dumbasses.
Tell us how you feel.
I've left the niceties behind. I have presented. I on one hand, I do nothing for the show except show up. But as you guys have discovered, that's all you really need.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
That's literally what you two do for me, so.
Exactly. And we keep coming back.
We're good at it.
I've come up with all kinds of ideas on how we can meet and how we do this, and they're like, yes, we're definitely doing that. And then I don't hear anything. But the less dumbass of the two has had a lot of life changes this year, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm hoping we'll be back soon. I mean, I'm still shooting for January that we're going to have some more content that's going to be available.
Me too. I'm still campaigning to help you guys get on Discord so
Yep.
you can record because while Craig may be a little bitch, I enjoyed your guys' podcast. It had so many, like the story you referenced earlier with the FedEx package that just disappeared for 3 episodes
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
showed up in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, where some hot girl brought it to him.
Yeah, so like there's it's so much good content. So go back and listen to those old ones. You'll get to hear a lot about old figures that have been out for a while now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because there is a lot of like timed, information and content, but they are fun to go back and listen to. There's a lot of good, conversation around things in the toy business. One of us, not me, has some pretty insane theories on how things are done, and we argue about that, and then we get mad at each other, and then we leave, and we're happy again.
Oh man, it sounds like
There's a
essentially
lot
what
more
we do out
arguing
here.
on our show.
You're right.
The only difference is both me and Jarmar agree with my conspiracy theories, so it doesn't end that way.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I typically don't agree with anything Corey says, even though we're very similar in a lot of aspects. We get along ish.
Until he starts with conspiracy theories about how the toy world works.
Yeah.
I'm more shocked that you haven't argued
That's
with me
funny.
with my theories, but yeah, make sure to go.
I'm still a guest.
I like that you know your place, unlike
Yeah.
some people.
Hey, man, I'm just
Yeah, he takes the YouTube wife a little too seriously and decides to stand his ground.
reminds me I need you to wash the dishes later when you get done with the show.
Anyway, make sure you check out both Jarmar and Nate on their podcasts. They're both fantastic. I've been on Why Are You Gamer. It's a lot of fun, and I hopefully will be a guest on Figuratively Speaking at some point if they ever decide that they like you enough to try to come back and quit being jealous of your new home. But
yeah, they're very petty.
I am too, so I can't judge. Hopefully we'll see you next year. Same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you so much for watching. There you go.
I can't.